How can you make more money by changing your money mindset? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain you how I changed my money mindset to secure a more steady income. Hi, my name is Ivana and I've been living in Bangalore, India now for almost 3 years. I have been an entrepreneur for the past 5 years. Especially in 2020, I think most of us have gotten a reality check how money doesn't necessarily make you happy, but it can ensure that your life is so much more easier, and it can also buy things that make you happy. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you how I slowly but steadily changed my money mindset in order to make more money. The 3 phases I went through in order to change my money mindset were 1, awareness, 2, attitude, and 3, action. So let's start with phase number 1, awareness. Especially in 2020, I think more than ever, there was attention for how the whole economic system works and how we are all part of that system. In order to make money, we have to spend money. That is just how the economy works. So the moment we all, due to the pandemic, spent a lot less, the economies all over the world went down and a lot of people got into financial trouble. A lot of people lost their jobs. Through watching a lot of videos on YouTube and through reading quite a lot of books, it became so clear for me how we are all an ecosystem, and that ecosystem involves money. So the best way for us to evolve ourselves to our fullest potential, but also in order to be able to help other people, is to make as much money as possible. The more money I make, the more money you make, the more we are capable of deciding what happens to that money. So for instance, if you want to feed more people, the more money you make, the more people you can feed. If you want to employ people indirectly, the more money you make and the more products you buy, the more people you are employing. That whole position of myself in the ecosystem brought a whole new awareness to me why it's important for me to make more money, but also for you to make more money. So how am I going to make as much money as possible? And that brings me to phase 2. From what I've read in multiple books and from what I've seen in multiple videos here on YouTube, our actions are governed by our thoughts and our beliefs and our convictions. And the same goes for money. Whatever you believe about money will reflect in your actions. Also, something very important to note with this is that most of our thoughts and beliefs about money particularly are taught by our parents. Now, looking at my background, for instance, my dad comes from a farmer family where he didn't even have electricity or running water when he was growing up. So my dad is the person who taught me that you need very little in life to be happy. You need very little in life to have a good life. But at the same time, my mom taught me that there are so many beautiful things in life that money can let you experience. So for instance, a very fancy cup of coffee in a 5-star hotel is actually all about the experience. It's about sitting in a beautiful ambiance. It's about getting served by really, really nice people and just enjoying a very nice experience. But it's not just about luxury. It's also about having financial stability in life, having safety and security. And that is something that my mom is in particular good at. Fun fact, my mom is in economics, so she really knows her way about money. However, both my parents were raised as employees. Our school systems are organized in a way where you are taught to be an employee. And I, for the first time, saw this contrast the more entrepreneur friends I got. They were not afraid of taking risks. They were not afraid of not knowing where their income would be coming from in a year. My entrepreneur friends really taught me how money gives you freedom in life, not just from debt or those kind of things, but also to just make your daily life working schedule. This is something that was very difficult for me because I always thought if I am not an employee, I am not going to earn money, because that's kind of what my parents taught me. But there are so many other beliefs in life that parents teach their children. Like, for instance, money makes people evil. Money will make you greedy. These kind of thoughts and beliefs are actually the reason why so many lottery winners go broke within just 1 year. These thoughts and beliefs about money really shape our actions. And for me, until now, the biggest belief that I've been struggling with is, why do I need to make more money than I need? I will just make enough money to, have a good life, to travel the whole world, but I don't need to necessarily make more than I need. This is actually a very, very limiting belief that actually, until now, really held me back from making as much money as possible, which is kind of selfish, because if I make as much money as possible, I can also decide to help other people who, for instance, need investments in their startups. I can employ people in my company. So it is not a belief that is actually serving me or the people around me in the end. Therefore, I decided to make a very, very conscious change in my attitude towards money. How did I do that? By constantly monitoring my thoughts about money. So whenever I would think that, oh, I made money, now I have enough for X months or X years, I would be thinking, no, this means that you can actually make more money. And what would you like to do with that money? So I started thinking more long term with my money, and I also started thinking more about other people instead of just my own needs in my daily life. This also led me to discover other money blocks that I had, and slowly but surely I am changing my attitude towards making money. I don't think rich people are evil anymore. Money doesn't make you more evil or more good than you already are. Money just facilitates the things that are already there. I also stopped believing that if you want to make as much money as possible, you are a greedy person. No, you can actually be a very generous person if you want to make as much money as possible, because you want to decide to what causes that money is being spent, and maybe you can employ people, maybe you can invest in startups. Right now, I am just super excited about making as much money as possible, because I realized you can actually be a lot more generous when you have a lot more money. Now, obviously, a shift in attitude will also shift your actions, which is phase number 3. However, your actions can actually also counter your attitude sometimes. This is the reason why I decided to do things differently. If you want a different outcome, you have to start doing things differently. And I started spending money on things that didn't seem very relevant, especially in a pandemic. So for instance, I bought new clothes, and that means that in that moment, I kind of am giving signals to myself that all the money I spent will come back to me multiplied. I am actually also giving back to the economy, because there are people who are being employed by these companies. There are people who make these clothes. There are people who sell these clothes. There are people who ensure that there are systems in place in order to deliver my clothes. So it's actually an investment in society, the way I see it, but also by increasing my own joy and my own energy about spending money, I'm also giving myself confidence that I will be able to make even more money by spending money, which was also a money block that I had. Something that my parents always taught me was to not spend any money before you made money. And that is something that I learned from my entrepreneur friends. Actually, in order to make money, you actually have to spend money. This is getting a little bit too technical maybe, especially if you're not an entrepreneur. But basically, this is how the economy works. In order for all of us to make more money, to make innovation possible in our society, in order to advance and evolve as human beings, we need to spend money. And then when you get comfortable with that, and when you get the confidence that that money will come back to you, it actually starts coming back. Now, by changing my attitude about money, I actually started also getting a lot more curious in how financial systems work. And that's where we come to phase 3. Because I started reading a lot more in how rich people, or people who have a lot of money, how they structure and organize their money in order to make it last and in order to make it grow. You have to educate yourself on what you spend your money on, because that is the biggest difference between rich people and poor people. The kind of things that they spend their money on. Rich people really spend their money on assets. things that will increase in value over time. So for instance, properties, investments, new companies, startups, people who may not know about these systems, they buy things that decrease in value very, very fast and actually are liabilities. Liabilities are things that will even cost you more money in the end. So a great example of that is a car. A car decreases in value, even a new car, the moment you drive it out of the garage. So a car is actually a really, really bad spend of your money. By learning more and more about those financial systems and structures, I actually also realized there is definitely a psychological or a kind of spiritual part to money, but there's also a very logical, structural part to money. In the action phase, I just educated myself a lot more on both of those, and I started taking action, to start investing more in assets instead of liabilities, but at the same time also keeping my own energy and joy about making money high and giving myself the confidence that the more money I spend, actually the more money I will make. Yes, I know this sounds spiritual, so if this is nothing for you, you can just stick to the logical or the structural part, but I think the spiritual part about money is also psychologically very important in order to start making more money over a longer period of time. I am also still in the process of developing a better money mindset every single day, and I would like to share the books with you that really, really helped me until now. One really logical, structural book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He will really explain to you why you should invest more in assets instead of liabilities. A book on the spiritual front, actually two books, were from Jen Sincero. There's an audiobook available on YouTube, and her second book, How to Be a Badass with Money, I actually just bought it myself, but I have linked all the books that I'm going to recommend you down in the description below. One other book on the spiritual front or the energetic front is Think and Grow Rich. This is pretty much a classic. And one of my personal favorites is Miss Louise Hay. You can find her videos here on YouTube, or you can buy her books as well. Very, very soon, my brother and me are actually also launching our workshop where we go into the nitty-gritty of, for instance, how to organize your financial systems, or how both of us saved enough money within 3 years to quit our jobs and never go back to a corporate job. So if you would like to get updated when that workshop launches, make sure to check out LOG Academy down in the description below and sign up for our newsletter. I hope this video helped you and that you're going to grow your money mindset and make a lot more money in 2021, because remember, the more money you make, the more you decide towards what causes that money will be spent, and the more the difference you can make in this world. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to put a thumbs up. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and then I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!